Hello, everybody. Welcome to Healing Numbers 22. Through my work as a numerologist, I meet so many wonderful people, and some of these folks have very special talents. They have different modalities to help us grow. And I thought it would be good if I started to introduce some of these lovely people so that they can help us become, there's always room to grow, right? No matter how old we are, there's always room to grow. So I would like to introduce to you Suzanne Carver, right?
Mhm.
Suzanne Carver, yeah. Yes, Suzanne, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm actually quite honored to be asked
Oh,
to do this. So thank you.
oh, you are more than welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you offer.
Okay. So I'm a writer first and foremost, but I'm also a coach and a teacher, and I work with people, predominantly women, but not necessarily only women, to connect with and reclaim their authenticity. And I do that through coaching, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and workshops. I teach different workshops on that. And for me, it's just been my lifelong journey. I am a trauma survivor, and for most of my life I lived very disconnected from myself. And even with lots and lots of healing and different modalities that I've used over the years, I still felt like something was just missing from my life. And I realized that it was me. It was me in my like fullest expression. Not just parts of me, but I really wanted all of me. And and so for the last many years I've been on that journey of kind of calling all my parts home, which is a misnomer really, because they're all always right here. So maybe what is better to say for me is taking off things that weren't me so that I could
Oh, yeah.
connect with the deepest part of me. And I spent a lot of years trying to fix myself, and I realized that healing for me is really about allowing myself,
Mhm.
that everything I need is within me. And I believe that that's true for everyone, no matter how far away we are from ourselves. I really and truly believe that our truest selves are always within us, and that that's our path to living our most fulfilling life. So it's my pursuit, my passion, and now my work. And I love this work. It's such a privilege to me to do.
Um, so what can people expect when they're working with you?
So I work in a really heart-centered way. I like to create space for people that is very compassionate, self-compassionate, compassion and love from me to the person, and non-judgmental. It's so important to me. I feel like most spaces that exist, especially in the wellness sphere, which is like taken off, it's kind of still about like what you should be doing. It's still like advice about how you should be living and what boxes you should be checking. And my work is completely intuitive. It's more about actually being softer with ourselves, and learning how to trust what's actually within us. So my job, I never see my job as telling people who they are or what they should be doing, but really helping them forge a road back to their truth and what they know to be true for themselves.
So, and you've heard me say this. I'm not a writer, and I get blocked. So how do you deal with that? I mean, if somebody knows that they could really benefit from having some time with you, and you call it scripting, right? Scripting your
That
story.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I teach. It's one of the workshops I teach is scripting, which is uh, scripting in short is the story we are telling ourselves about ourselves and our lives. And scripting for manifestation is doing that on purpose, choosing the story we want to tell, and then telling it about our future, but telling it now. So about something we might want to have happen or a state of being we want to be in, and then telling that story as if it's happening in the present. So it's a present tense, first person narrative. And the beautiful thing about scripting is that it's not just sitting down and saying, I now live in this house with these windows, or I'm now a best-selling author. It's about actually getting into the energy of what that dream is and connecting to the deepest part of you that longs for that. And oftentimes there are things in the way of it. If my belief is that if we have a desire, it's absolutely for us. Otherwise we wouldn't have it. So if there's a desire to, say, write a book or express yourself in a certain way in the world, maybe through art or something like that, then that is there for a reason. And if it's not materializing, or there's something in the way of that, and you and I have talked about a little bit about this, whatever is in the way is worth holding with compassion and in interest and curiosity, so that we can work with it and move it out of the way, not with like shoving, not with being like, I should do better. This is the one that gets me all the time. Like, I should be nicer to myself. I should have more confidence. I should improve my self-talk. Like, that is absolutely not the energy that actually invokes those states of being. So scripting for me isn't about just writing words. It's about actually tuning into the energy of who we want to be in those moments. And so I script all the time for myself. And a lot of it is in the vein of like, I like knowing that I have power to choose my life and choose my thoughts. I like choosing to speak nicely to myself. I love myself. I'm loving myself through this process of uncertainty. I'm finding clarity in each of my moments. I trust my process. I trust my unfolding, and creating a new language of talking to ourselves that actually supports our dreams and our desires. Because a lot of times there's either fear or unworthiness that are in the way of us actually.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's almost always fear.
Yeah. And fear is there for a reason. It's not just something to like bulldoze out of the way. I personally believe that fear is a roadmap to show us exactly where our work is. And there's a lot of energy locked up in fear. And if we can gently open to it and let it speak for itself, that energy can be dispelled, and then it's available to us to use. And we're so much more powerful than we realize in that way.
Right. Well, a lot of us were brought up to be stoic.
Right. Just push ahead.
Just push ahead, stuff it down, keep moving. But it comes out one way or another, and it's mostly physically.
Yes, it does come out physically a lot. I used to be someone who just plowed through everything. I was always a doer. Like, I could make things happen. And so I just would. And I would never ask myself if I was tired, if my desires had changed, if I wasn't aligned with it anymore. I would not ask those questions. I would just do it. And now when I encounter that resistance of like, actually, I don't know if I want to keep, something doesn't feel good about this. Instead of just pushing, I stop and ask, like, what's here for me to know about? Because I found it's actually 100% more powerful to work in alignment with my energy than it is to just jam ahead in life. And everything's more enjoyable that way for me too. And my experience has been that when I am working with myself and inside my authenticity, kind of really magical things happen. Things that I could not have orchestrated if I'd had 6 months of team planning to do it. Right. So it's reinforced for me the idea that our energy is incredibly powerful, and it's set me up to now actually prefer to work that way. And when I'm just plowing ahead, I'm like, oh, I'm doing that thing, and I'm aware that I'm only working at about 20% of my capacity when I'm forcing and striving.
Yeah. It's working through your heart, right? When you work through your heart, things flow and the synchronicities line up for us.
Yes.
Because there's other forces at work.
Exactly. Exactly. We have to obviously take actions in the world, but there's something about the energy of allowing that I believe that when we're in our authenticity and in our worth, we are open to the things that we want actually coming to us. I think often they're around us, they're circling us, but we are like this with them energetically. In our minds, we think we're open, but our energy pushes them away. And so for me, authenticity is the language I use, the path I use. I think lots of people are doing that same work, but maybe using different paradigms.
Yeah.
But it's the same idea of opening ourselves to our own goodness and potential and the possibilities that are all around us from a universe that's so much larger than our like limited minds.
It's accepting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so huge because almost all of us have had trauma of some sort in our life. And that is on the outer edge all the time. And that
Right.
can dam things up so you don't get that flow to go through.
Yes. And I would
Well,
say too, as a trauma survivor, this kind of work for me has been incredibly healing because I now trust myself in a way. I trust my energy, I trust my desires, I trust what's true for me in a way that if you've grown up in trauma, especially, is taken away from you. And it's really to me, it's been a really beautiful reclamation. It's been one of the most healing things to have all parts of me be allowed instead of just the high performing parts or the parts that other people like, or
that's huge.
it really is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is.
We all seem to want to just do for other people and please other people. And yeah, when you step back and you say, what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can't answer that because we
Right.
haven't thought about that.
Well, and I think so many of us are driven unconsciously toward validation and approval from others, from outside. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, that does feel good, but the truth is it only actually feels good for like this long.
Yeah.
But when that is paired with the approval from ourselves and from the validation from within, everything else in life just takes on a new shine. Everything then is on top of that. But instead of like, I always saw outside validation as like putting things in a bucket with holes in the bottom and it just would run right through. Nothing would ever stick. I'd feel good for a minute and then and then all that like low self-worth would come back. And now that I've built myself from inside, now when someone gives me a compliment, it feels literally like icing on a cake. It doesn't feel like a need. It feels like, oh, that feels good, but I don't have to have that.
Right.
It's not what sustains me anymore.
Yeah. Who would benefit from this?
So I really love to work with anyone who is called to this kind of work, who hears it and says, oh, it's a yes for them. But specifically, anyone who's feeling stuck or lost or like they're missing something in their lives. They're either missing their passion or their purpose. Like they're kind of doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. They're checking the boxes, but something's like not connecting. It's just not feeding them. People who are in transitions, major transitions in life or inside their selves, people who just are wanting something more for themselves. Self-love for me it's like my favorite thing to teach. And I think so many of us are walking around missing that. Yeah. So someone who's longing for their own selves.
Yeah, that's cool. One of your long-term dreams is coming true. Tell us about that. Cool.
Yes. So on my blog, I write blog posts about this topic of authenticity, but I'm also a fiction writer. And I actually started, I did blog for years as a mom. I did like a mom blog, but for the last over 10 years, I've been a fiction writer, and I have 2 fiction novels, and I've been sort of waiting, hoping for them to get picked up. And one of them is going to get published this year. And that's really exciting for me. And a lot of that was about the process of me seeing myself and stepping into my own self-belief and making those inner strides to actually allow for that kind of being seen at that level outside myself. So it's exciting from the standpoint of I wrote a book and it's going to be published, but from a greater perspective, it's me owning something about myself to a level that I'm able to take that in now.
Yeah, that dream is becoming the reality.
Right.
That's so cool.
I wasn't ready for it before, even when I thought I really was. And I would be like, why isn't this happening? I now know, because of how I feel inside myself now, I know that I probably couldn't have actually handled it before. I probably couldn't have handled any criticism or just the ups and downs you have to be kind of weather in it when you're up in the public. I don't think I could have before. And I feel like I feel like I can now.
Nice. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to work with you, how do you offer it?
Okay, so the best place to find me is on my website, which I put on here because I could. When I was
Yeah.
into it.
Well, I can even do something even cooler. You watch.
Ooh, can you?
Yeah.
So my website is thetrueyoublog.net, and on there I have a blog, and I have a section called "Work with Me," and it says what my different. Oh, look at you! It says what my different offerings are. So up at the top there, you can see these are my categories for blog posts. Authentic body love is deeply important to me. I'm very passionate about that. Mind liberation, so like deconditioning our minds from societal and familial influences. And truly you is being you. Posts on how to be yourself. And then I have upcoming events, which I have a virtual scripting workshop on March 15th from 3 to 4:30 Eastern time. And that's there. Yes, you can buy tickets right on there. Look at you, Sue.
Nice.
And then there's a tab for Work with Me, and it tells you a little bit about the different services that I offer. One of which that I forgot to mention was that I do something called reflector readings. This is a new thing I'm doing. It's like a two-part, a two-meeting reading where first I talk to people and get to know them a little, and then I synthesize that and reflect back for them. Essentially, I have the ability to see people's authentic selves, their potential in ways that sometimes they can't. And if anyone knows anything about human design, in human design, I am a reflector, which is very rare. I only know this as of recently, but reflectors make up less than 1% of the human population. And we're literally gifted with that ability to see people and reflect
Who
back.
they are.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so it's something I do very naturally. And I never thought of it as special. And I'm just starting to realize that it is pretty special. And so I've started offering it to people who.
Is this the one you're talking about, the intuitive reflector?
Yes. And I can work, I can work virtually. So it doesn't have to be local. I can work with anybody. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Okay, so how do I stop? There we go.
Thank you. That was such a lovely little.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate you sharing with us.
Thank you.
I hope that people realize how if I just wanted to come to you for one session,
yes,
I could do that.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then that could follow up with more if that's what came out.
Yes, it's very open.
Okay.
It can be what people need.
Okay. And you do groups. So if somebody's watching this and they have a group.
I'm formulating groups now. I have some interest. I need enough interest to, have I don't know, maybe 3-ish people. I have, I think 2. So just people, if someone's interested in that, just reach out. I really believe in these types of things to bring the right people together. Yeah. I have deep gratitude in the groups that I've been a part of that have helped deeply shape my own transformation. So I think that working one-on-one is lovely, but I really love the power of groups in having that collective energy and insight and wisdom. Sometimes you can see in someone else something that you can't see in yourself, either a block or a gift. Yeah. And it can really help speed up and expand your mind. Not speed up your transformation, but expand your own perspective.
Yeah. You can do those groups online?
Yes, they're all online.
Oh,
yes, kind of like you do.
Oh, so maybe Healing Numbers should have a group. Should offer that on.
Would you do that though, right?
I haven't done I haven't done a live numerology reading for a while. We stopped it for a while, but I could offer a group. and send it out to my people to see if they
Yes.
wanted to join. So, so exciting.
Thank you for thank you for this is such a beautiful part of my own expansion to step into this part of myself. And I feel so supported by you that you were asked me to do this. And I just really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Everybody has different ways of needing to learn more about themselves. And if we can get more modalities out there to help people, I'm all for it, because we're a collective and we have to work together. And energy is energy, no matter how we do it. But it's so important that people have that self-esteem and that confidence and that ability to love themselves.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with needing support or guidance or someone else's perspective to help you on your journey. Like, no one can do it for you, but there are so many ways that we can be supported and assisted. I'm so grateful for the teachers and coaches and teachers I've had, because teachers, coaches, and teachers, I said it twice. I guess I really feel strongly about that because I wouldn't be where I am without their perspectives. Right. So, yeah.
All right, Suzanne, always a pleasure. I'm sure we'll be talking again. And if anybody wants to reach out to Suzanne, you can go to her website, and I'll also have more information.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.